Coming up, third-class medical reform gets a big push in Congress. We'll tell you what's in the Pilot's Bill of Rights, too. Getting the community out to the airport, and close formation acro with a group that proves that age is only a number. AOPA Live this week begins in just a moment.
From your first skyward glance, the dream of flight compelled you. And from your first glimpse of a Cirrus, you realized that dream had a name. Cirrus Aircraft. Go where you've never been before.
A new bill pushes third-class medical reform closer to reality. Hello, everyone, and welcome to AOPA Live this week. Thanks for joining us. A bold promise from AOPA President Mark Baker at the Northwest Aviation Conference in Washington State last weekend.
Our number one agenda started out last year and ain't going to be number two until it's done. So that's my pledge at AOPA, work with the EAA and others, that we're going to put as much effort as we can to get the right thing to happen here as fast as we can. It is frustrating, and I understand your impatience. I'm not asking you to be patient. I'm asking you to understand that we're going to get it done one way or the other.
And it didn't take long. Wednesday evening, a powerful group of senators and congressmen introduced two different bills. Both bills would do away with the third-class medical requirement.
You've got two shots at it. You have a freestanding bill that would do away with the third-class medical, but we also have it in the Pilot's Bill of Rights. And I think that since this is going to be on a fast track, it's going to become a reality.
The Pilot's Bill of Rights 2 and the General Aviation Pilot Protection Act would permit a private pilot to fly without a third-class medical certificate. They could fly an aircraft weighing up to 6,000 pounds with up to 6 seats. They'd have to stay below 14,000 feet, fly no faster than 250 knots, and they could fly both VFR and IFR.
We're talking about VFR only and now IFR, because if you stop and think it through, that's not going to make any difference in terms of your physical condition. The idea is if you can drive a car to the airport, you ought to be able to fly an airplane.
Sounds good, but can either bill get through Congress?
It's not conceivable to me that after all we went through in fighting the FAA initially, as we did on the Pilot's Bill of Rights 1, that we should have any problem getting it passed. I do have a Democrat co-sponsor that is being helpful in this, in Joe Manchin from West Virginia. We also have Senator Bozeman from Arkansas and several others. On the House side, we have Sam Graves, who's always kind of a partner of mine anytime it has to do with airplanes.
Other House co-sponsors include Todd Rokita of Indiana, Dan Lipinski of Illinois, and Colin Peterson of Minnesota. The bills give the FAA 180 days to rewrite the regulations, and if the FAA doesn't act fast enough, the provisions automatically take effect. You can read more about the Pilot's Bill of Rights 2 on AOPA.org. And remember, contact your senators and representatives and ask them to support the bills. While third-class medical reform works for pilots flying recreationally, if you fly for a living, you still will need a medical. AOPA Insurance Services is preparing to bring to market an innovative new kind of policy that takes the risk out of maintaining a full-time flying career. Pilot loss of medical certificate disability insurance offers financial protection to pilots whose livelihood depends on a valid medical certificate. This financial safety net covers your loss of income due to injury or illness, whether it occurs on or off the job. This insurance is unique as it defines disability as the loss or suspension of your FAA medical certificate. You can find out more at insurance.aopa.org. You might think of retirement as a time to sit back and take a break. A group of Florida retirees is defying that stereotype. Editor-at-large Dave Hirschman tells the story of the Mavericks aerobatic team.
You're not too old. Age is not a handicap. Attitude is a handicap.
It's a golden Florida evening, and unlike other retirees, the Mavericks, a group of mostly 70-something former airshow pilots, are in the midst of a strenuous formation aerobatic flight.
Okay, Mavericks, let's go to live rest.
Each maneuver requires precision, finesse, confidence, and physical strength.
To me, it's almost an art form. It's a fluid ballet dance rather than an aerobatic routine.
Go back to power.
The Mavericks don't seek sponsorships or even big audiences.
G's coming on.
They do this demanding, hazardous, and unforgiving flying purely for their own reasons.
I love the adrenaline rush. You know, when we go to fly, it just pumps you up.
I don't do it for money, I do it for love. I truly love it.
I want to look back and say, I had a mission and I pursued it. And I think I'll continue to have a mission. This is our mission.
Feeling that you've done a job really well done is a great reward.
Here we go.
The Mavericks count more than 220 flying years of experience between them. But even with all that knowledge, communication is essential.
Get to the vertical, put the G's on.
Well, we're very honest with each other, and I think you have to be very honest because your life depends on it.
We've known each other, most of us, for a generation or more. And so we can almost anticipate each other's movements.
We do demand perfection, and we respect each other for that perfection.
The Mavericks keep pushing themselves to learn and grow.
I'd say I've proved to myself that this old dog can learn a new trick.
Age is not preventing me from growing, or from learning, or from being what I want to be, or for pursuing my mission.
Age isn't holding the Mavericks back, it's pushing them forward.
Rolling now.
If I'm going to do this, if I'm going to do anything I want to do, I better be doing it right now. Because the greatest tragedy is to be on your deathbed and look back and say, I wish I had learned to fly formation. I wish I had gone flying with my buds. Wish I had challenged myself and learned how to do something. That's the greatest tragedy of life.
Dave Hirschman, AOPA Live.
Thanks, Dave. Read all about the Mavericks in the April edition of AOPA Pilot Magazine. Coming up after the break, Oz and planes getting kids out to the airport. And the NTSB sides with GA against the FAA? You're watching AOPA Live this week. Welcome back. You're watching AOPA Live this week. Well, at the time we recorded this, the temperature in Hell, Michigan was 7 degrees. And on a related note, I'll give you a second to process that, the NTSB thinks the FAA has gone too far. The board agrees with AOPA and other industry groups that a supplemental notice of proposed rulemaking about ECI cylinders would cost too much and not add to safety. It's not often the NTSB thinks the FAA has gone too far. You can read more about the proposed NPRM on AOPA.org. Well, it looks like there are going to be some unhappy customs inspectors and border protection agents next week. As we record this, still no resolution to the funding issue for the Department of Homeland Security. Money runs out Friday, and that means all essential DHS employees, and that's about 80% of them, would start working Saturday without pay. So don't cancel that flight to the Bahamas. We'd all agree that we need to get the public out to airports more. Getting members of the community, especially kids interested in aviation, is key to our future. AOPA is making it easier for community events to bring the public out to the airport. AOPA Live's Paul Harrop shows us how.
Today's Paws and Planes Day. We're introducing children to aviation and also to the importance of animal rescue.
It's a perfect combination. Airplanes, dogs, and kids on a Saturday morning.
It's been very exciting. I don't know what children are doing first. They either run towards the dog or they run towards an airplane that they can get into.
For almost 5-year-old Connor, the decision on a favorite element is easy.
Airplanes?
Yeah? What's your favorite one you've seen? Did you like the yellow one?
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool one, huh?
Uh-huh.
The event is based around the Turbo the Flying Dog book series. Jaden is 7. She's a big fan of turbos. His book made her get interested in flying. She even made a fan art shirt.
I drew it last night with fabric markers.
That's pretty cool. And what did Turbo think about it?
He liked it.
He did? So you're gonna be a pilot when you get a few years older, huh?
For Jaden's mom, seeing the message of empowerment through aviation is inspiring.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful. I think it gives her an opportunity to kind of, want to explore and know that if she wants to, whatever she puts her mind to, that she can do it, not be afraid, and just have fun with it.
The event is enabling. It's one of many being held at the AOPA National Aviation Community Center. AOPA has taken a hangar that had fallen into all but abandonment and made it into a thriving complex. There's meeting rooms that get used by groups like the Civil Air Patrol and the IMC Club, and a kitchen to handle pancake breakfasts and other fly-in delicacies. The idea is to bring the community out to the airport and let them get a hands-on taste of general aviation through things like Redbird simulators. It sure worked for 12-year-old Matthew.
I did the flight simulator. That was really fun.
Tell me about the flight simulator. What do you think about that?
Hard to steer.
But easy to snap roll. Watch out, Mike Goulian. Matthew has his sights on doing that for real in a few years, and it all started at Paws and Planes Day at the AOPA National Aviation Community Center. Paul Harrop, AOPA Live.
Well, how can you beat that? AOPA hopes the National Aviation Community Center can be a model for airports nationwide. If you'd like to learn more, head to aopa.org. That'll do it for us this week. Next week, we're heading to Orlando for the Helicopter Association International Convention, Heli Expo. And we'll tell you about some of the latest machines with propeller on the top. And let me assure you that our trip to Orlando has nothing to do with the fact that it's like 50 degrees warmer there. Till then, I'm Tom Haynes. Thanks for watching.